Okay, I ask for you to prepare yourself to go into meditation, and our musicians are going to play some music to help us just relax and let go.
You're welcome to sing if you know it or if there's words. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me. Melt me. Mold me, fill me, use me, Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me.
Take in a deep breath and let go. Become aware of the space that you are in right now. Open your minds, open your hearts, open your souls to the divine presence of God that exists within you. Your guiding light in your life is the Spirit of Truth. Breathe and just let go. Tell your body to relax. There's nowhere to go but to be here right now. Now is the presence. Now is the power. Now is the divine intelligence of God. Shift your attention from your mind to your heart. And see the doors of your heart open wide. See the light beaming out, calling your name. Calling your name personally. Asking for you to come and sit a while. You see this beautiful chair or bench. And you sit down. And as soon as you're comfortable, a stream automatically, this beautiful stream of water, flows across to your feet, refreshing you, renewing you, and helping you to relax and to let go. This is your sacred time. This is your holy time to listen to the small, still voice within you. To feel the vibration of the holiness that you are. In this sacred space, you are so much bigger than your human self. In this space, you realize all things are possible with God. The Christ in you is your hope of glory. Be still and feel the silence. Whisper to yourself, all is well with my soul. All is well with my soul. And so it is. We thank you, dear God, for this special time. Yeah, hallelujah, 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 It's good to be back. I've really missed you guys. But I had a nice time in Minnesota, and I've had a nice time just doing nothing except wash clothes. So we're going to continue. This is our final lesson in the creation story, and it's about finding your creative genius within you. And we've come to realize that the 7 days of creation is really a 7 mental day, 7 stages that we go through when we want to manifest a divine idea. Okay? So I just want to review real quickly, in case people haven't been here to hear the first few days, or the first few days of the lesson. And the first one is when God said, let there be light, there was light. And what we're looking for is illumination into the thought that we might have that we want to bring forth into manifestation. The second day, we have to have faith. We have to have faith in our thought process. We have to have faith in the invisible realm of God. That's the firmament, that's the foundation. If, Jesus said, upon this rock I shall build my church. Upon this rock you shall manifest. Third day It's the power of our imagination, the I am imaging that Eric Butterworth talks about in his book called The Creative Life. This is a great book just to even have at your nightstand, to open it up, because Eric Butterworth, every paragraph is powerful. That's all, in any of his books, it's powerful truth, it's powerful wisdom that this man has left us. So, and on the fourth day, we talk about the two lights, and the two lights represent understanding and will. Understanding represents the sun, and the will represents the moon. So, it's like once we have an understanding of what it is, clear intention, it's the will of God, which is the lesser moon, that there's light in the darkness. So when we need guidance or direction because we feel lost or confused, we count on the will of God to help us bring a greater light. And it's going to come. Every morning we wake up and there's sunshine, isn't there? Right? So, and then the swarming of the animals, that's the swarming of thoughts. That's our thought patterns, our group patterns, or group consciousness that we talked about earlier. We talked about brainstorming, how people come together and they brainstorm over everything that they want to create, and they let go of what isn't the most powerful thoughts, and they focus in on the thoughts that are in alignment with their goal. And then we were made in the image and likeness of God. Folks, this is the one thing, if we can come into full realization that we are spiritual beings, oh my God, there would be peace on earth. We would know our oneness with God. We would not feel any separation or anything. And this image and likeness, we have to count. That is the foundation of what we're trying to manifest. What is the highest and best good for your life? What is the highest and best good for the world? And that's what we want to focus on. And now, day number 7. And then God rested. Let me ask you, would you worship a God that really needed to take a break? Right? God rested. If God is the one and true only power, God wouldn't get worn out. And God is not a person. God is a spiritual energy that creates. And we are all part of that creative energy. And when we sit down and we pray and we meditate and let go of our human thoughts and allow ourselves to be open and receptive to the higher thought, the divine thoughts of God, things begin to happen. You'll know what to do. You'll be in the right place at the right time. You'll know what you need to let go of. It all falls into place. It's a mental process. It's about our thought patterns, and we have to be aware of our thought patterns. If they're in the negative realm, we're never going to produce a positive reality, are we? Even with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, you know what? All they have are thoughts of war and violence running around. We go, what are they thinking? They're thinking negative thoughts. They're thinking about killing. They're thinking about bombing. They're thinking negative thoughts that are not in alignment. Those are not God thoughts. Let's put it that way. We got to pray that all of us get more in alignment with the thoughts of God. God is omnipresent. That means God is everywhere. There is not a spot in the world that God is not. There's not a spot in the world that God is greater over here and lesser over here. That's impossible. God's presence is all over. And then we also have that God is omnipotent. And that means that God is the only power. God is the only power. And then God is omniscience. God is all-knowing. I know sometimes we think we know more than God. I know we all do, because we don't stop and listen. We don't stop and really listen. We go into chaos in our thoughts. I got to take care of this. I can do this all by myself. Yes, I can. I don't need anybody in my life. Blah, 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 blah. You know those patterns. Okay, I'm the only one in this room that does that. Okay, so I need to clean up my act a little bit more. All right. Divine mind created the world. And the divine mind of God said, let there be. So what is it in your life right now that you're searching for that you want it to be? Let it be. And then I always have been taught this or something better, because I always want to leave an open door for God to step into my life and say, no, I got something better prepared for you, Patty. Or, Patty, no, you really don't want that. I'm going to protect you from that. It's not going to manifest. But if we have God as our pilot or co-pilot in talking to us, if we're open to listen, if we're open to asking God questions, we will get the answers. We will get the answers. You know, a few weeks ago, you all know that I was in a near-death experience car crash, okay? I came out physically unharmed, and I'm very grateful for that. So I thought to myself, what is it that the universe is trying to say to me? Well, I've been pondering, going back and forth in regards to working for hospice. Well, I made the decision to leave hospice because the message I got was that I need to be among the living, and I use the word need, and I desire, and I use the word desire, I desire to live my life. When you run over a speed limit sign, you know. And I was thrown off the road, or I had to swerve off the road because there was an oncoming car head-on at me. And I didn't want my life to hit me head-on for me to stop. You see the moral of the story here, of the situation? I could have gone, well, poor me, you know how we can get. But I had to stop and ask myself, after I got myself calmed down, after a few days, and start to reflect. This is a major wake-up call. It was like, bang, 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 Patty. Listen, I'm talking to you. And I've been pondering this thought about retiring from hospice for months. But we have to take the time. And you know what the Sabbath is? You don't have to wait until Sunday to have the Sabbath. Sometimes you just have to have moments of the Sabbath. And that is when we sit down and breathe. How about when we make a big sigh? We're letting something go, even though we might not know what it is, but that sigh is releasing an energy package from you out into your universe that you no longer need. If you're tired, you're worn out, you're hitting the road hard at work, have you ever stopped to sit down and just take a couple deep breaths? That's a Sabbath. Have you taken time to say, is everything okay with my soul right now? I'm feeling out of sorts. That's a moment of Sabbath. We're on a journey, folks. We're not just here to live life, have a, grow a family, go to college, go get a great job, have all these materialistic things that we think is going to bring us happiness, but really doesn't. Maybe more time in the silence will really bring us happiness because it's great for our health. It's great for our disposition. It gives us divine ideas when we least expect it. When do we allow ourselves to just sit down and just say, you know what, I need to just focus on my breathing here for a bit? When people are upset, what do you say? Just breathe. Just breathe. And when we do breathe, we feel better because we're consciously breathing and we're releasing what is not necessary. There was a man who stopped Socrates, and he says, how can I reach Mount Olympus? To this, Socrates is said to have greatly replied, just make every step you take go in the right direction. Isn't that what we have to do? Yes. With our lives, just even daily, we make a to-do list, but it doesn't mean that we have to do everything that's on that to-do list. Uh-oh, I see people looking at each other. I remember in my 12-step program, this guy says, yeah, make this to-do list. And then my higher power told me to rip it in half. So I ripped it in half, and he says, now I only do half of my to-do list. I remember growing up, in my household, it was about responsibility and I forgot the other word. God, maybe I'm not supposed to say it. About responsibility, work, responsibility, be productive in your day. So I would run around, growing up from one thing that I had to do to the next thing I had to do, and then when I didn't have anything to do, my mom would say, what are you doing? It took me the longest time to get over that guilt to do nothing. Or to just breathe. I'm sure you all got some memories about that somewhere along the line. But, it's about letting go, folks. We have to come to a point where, we have divine ideas in life. We have goals and we have intentions. But are we inviting God in? Are we taking moments to rest in the silence so that God, and it's really a download that we're getting from Spirit? Sierra and Denise, they always know, and some of my closest friends, they always know when I'm getting downloaded because it's like I just stare off. It's pretty funny in the store. Sierra will go, Patty, wake up. Yeah, okay. Keep moving. But it's okay to do that, to have those times just to stare off. Because in the invisible realm, there is more activity than in the physical realm. Holy Spirit is always working. At night, I ask my angels to cleanse me, to purify me, to heal me, to adjust me, whatever it is while I'm sleeping. And I can wake up and feel very refreshed in the morning. I have a better night's sleep. Give it a try. It works. It really works. Years ago in the biblical times, the Sabbath, you were not allowed to work. And there's a story in the book of Numbers. This man, he was picking up sticks off his land. Some other people saw him. And they reported him to the elders. And he had to stand before the elders of the church. And do you know he was condemned to death? The congregation, think about this, is really sad. The congregation stoned the man to death for picking up sticks on the Sabbath. That's pretty sad. I think they call that a cult now, these days. But, you know, we want to be successful in our lives. And the way we are truly successful is having conversations with God. And remember, success is not about getting there. It's about earning the right to be there. It's about earning the right that you did what you needed to do to earn. You had the discipline. You had the prayer work. You had the time of listening, being open-minded. If we keep pushing it off to the side, it's never going to get done, folks. It's never going to be as great as what we think it can be, or even greater. And I love this, and I know, and I want to make sure I'm saying this word correctly, and I am going to talk to our Hawaiian couple, you know, Donna and Gail, and I hope I'm saying this word right. It's Haolis, Halolis? How do you say? How does it? Halis? Haolis. It's a Hawaiian word. Well, anyways, you all know what it is. But here's the meaning. Here's the meaning of this word. And this is when the Christians went over to Hawaii to change the Hawaiians from their pagan ways, and they were building chapels. Hollies. That's simple, isn't it? I made a big deal out of it. And do you know what it means? One without breath. Because they were teaching the Hawaiians to go into the chapel to find God, where the Hawaiians knew that God was omnipresent, that God was wherever they were, and you are always standing upon holy ground. God is in this ground. God is in these seats. God is clothing us. Without breath. So sometimes even still today, you know, when people come and visit, they see how much do we got to do on vacation. Why are we taking a vacation? I thought it was time to rest. I thought it was a Sabbath type of thing. Float in the ocean, float in the pool. Embrace the beauty that God has bestowed upon these islands. Are we embracing the beauty in our own lives? Yeah. You know, Time magazine put out a magazine. On the front of it, it said, God is dead. Boy, did it ruffle some feathers. But they thought it was sacrilegious and that. But it reflected humankind's growing unwillingness to accept custom-made convictions and their inability to help or inspiration from an ancient definition of God. In other words, people were saying, you know, I believe in an all-loving God. I don't know why you keep preaching to me about a punishing God. You know, people were beginning to rebel. They knew, we all instinctively know there is more to life than what we're experiencing. But if we don't take Sabbath times, if we don't take some time to just rest, to just let go, when will we find the more to life that we're all seeking? I'm sure it's different for everybody, but it's also the same. We're all seeking happiness. We're all seeking peace. We're all seeking health and wholeness and completeness. We want to be healthy and whole, but most of all, we don't want to feel separate from God. We do not want to feel separate from God anymore. Aren't we tired of feeling that? I was listening to Chicago PD yesterday, and the police officer picked up a book in somebody's room, possible suspect. And in the book, when the police officer opened it up, there was one line that was underlined in the book. And it was, the biggest waste of time is to think that we are alone. Isn't that powerful? The biggest waste of time is to think we are alone. The more we think that our angels and our guides and the presence of God is within and around us, the more we will be awakened to divine inspiration. It makes sense, right? Yes. Peace be still and know that I am God is one of the biggest Psalm verses that's repeated. The Hawaiians they know that God's within them. We got to work at it. And the more we work at it, the more we will feel it. The more we will experience, the more we will see it active in our lives. And more churches, I really feel, need to focus on teaching people that God is within and that the real church is within us and how good God is to us when we have a very personal relationship with God. We all want to increase that personalized relationship with God, don't we? Yeah. I know I do. Practice the presence throughout the day. Whether it's washing dishes, brushing your teeth, doing lawn work, whatever it is you're doing, shopping. Did you ever stop like in a mall or in a store and or an auditorium and just really stop for a moment and just look at all the people that are there and know that consciously know that each one is a divine expression of God. It almost takes your breath away when you do that. And, we just have to take time. I guess what it boils down to, folks, and I know it's hard when people push your buttons. Especially our families, because they installed those buttons. Gotcha. We have to take time to be holy, to know we're holy, to affirm we're holy. The dog knows it's holy. That's what it takes. Affirm. Release whatever it is that is not of God. You don't have to know what it is. Just say, God, I release what is not of you within me. I release and let go of my hurt, my pain, my disappointment from this lifetime and other lifetimes. I want to live in the now. I want to know my holiness, dear Lord. Do you know that the heart even rests? The heart works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Do you realize out of the 24 hours that the heart rests 15 hours? Do you realize that out of 50 years that our heart is working, that there's 30 years of rest periods? Isn't that incredible? So how come we're not shut up and listening? I mean, our bodies know it. A major organ tells us, oh, I got to rest. You know, and it goes. It works and it stops. It works and it stops. Do you know the biggest day of the week for heart attacks is Mondays? Yep. Because people don't want to go back to work. I don't blame them. But these are things that you could take home and think about this week. And, you know, if you can't find a used copy of it or go to the library, it's such a great book. Know that all this lies within us. That we have the capability of bringing forth more in our lives if we work with God. And God is always ready. God doesn't say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not done yet. Oh, I got to put my makeup on. Oh, I got to put my shoes on. No. God's all ready for us. And the reality of God is eternal energy. And it is in every space that we're in. God's energy is there with us. What a beautiful thing. Take a moment and embrace. Just embrace that moment of God and yourself. And all of God's people say, Amen. Very good. You didn't forget how to say amen.